Welcome to another installment of Tech, Law, and Business, the YouTube video series. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal, and I am a technology lawyer and business lawyer. And in this particular video, we will be talking about the importance of technology business contributions. And when I say contributions, I'm talking about the core founders, shareholders of the business, and their contributions to the business and properly compensating them for it. Because the last thing that you're wanting to do as a founder, a shareholder, a contributor to the business is to find yourself over contributing in your efforts to the business, and one of more of your shareholders, business partners, really not following through on their promises and their commitments to advance the business. Now, how do you look at this? Now, everybody wants to get an equal share in a business, and that's all great theoretically. However, from a practical standpoint, you really want to set standards for people and expectations, and you want them to follow through on those expectations. And at the same time, you have to give a bit of leeway with respect to not necessarily meeting the full level of expectations, but what you don't want to be doing is allowing individuals to come in and to ride on your coattails and your hard work and the hard work of others and necessarily get an equal share. At the same time, you want to incentivize your fellow shareholders, fellow contributors, so that if they really go above and beyond with their work, they might get actually a bit more than you. But when you look at it, they're getting a bit more than you is only going to be the result of the company going far and beyond and exceeding itself. And we'll look at this a bit later. But what we have to do is we have to say, how do we go about and do this? And why do we go about doing this? Number one, we want to set a standard and an expectation level with people. And you want to set this early on. You don't merely want to set it in your game plan or otherwise your business plan, but you actually have to have it in the legal documents you put forward. You have to structure it correctly. And this starts with the unanimous shareholders agreement and the distribution of shares. Also, a performance matrix and even an incentive matrix contained within the unanimous shareholders agreement, which puts requirements with respect to efforts and commitment towards the business. This needs to be set out in legal documents so that people can't simply say, it's all great and fine, but I really didn't have to pull it off because there's nothing that binds me and I'm an equal shareholder in this business. That you don't want to necessarily allow if they are really doing a poor job of contributing to the business and they're not following through on the expectations that not only were set by you, but were set by them to justify their shareholding, to justify their dividend issues. This is important to you and it's important to the success of the business. Because if everybody is working hard and equally hard, nobody gets frustrated, hopefully. Nobody feels that they are working for the benefit of others, and those others are not carrying their weight and are riding on your coattails and getting benefits that they are not properly entitled to. On top of the fact that this disincentivizes those people who are working hard towards the furtherance of the business. You want to have everybody working hard and feeling that their work is actually getting properly rewarded. And this leads to our second aspect, which is creating appropriate incentives in the shareholders' agreements and other legal documents. Because if you're doing a hard job, but one of your business partners, otherwise known your shareholders in the company, really busts their butt, really works hard, comes up with some amazing ideas, and they get fractionally a larger stake in the company, a higher dividend return, a bonus structure to compensate them for that extra above and beyond work. What ends up happening is, yes, they will effectively get more than yourself. But if the company's value doubles, if its revenues triple, quadruple, quintuple, their stake is going to be substantially more than yours. But at the same time, your stake, your return, is going to be substantially greater than if they had not put in all that extra work. And you have to recognize this and appreciate it and really try to get it done. Why not get the company to be as prominent and as successful? That's the beauty of technology companies. They are not based on straight out dollar for dollar, hour for dollar work that a construction company might operate under, an accounting company might operate under, a restaurant might operate under. We're talking about technology where values can skyrocket. The multipliers are great. The same with revenues. One great idea, a better operation, getting to the market faster can make all the difference to your business, and can make the difference between the business having one valuation and one revenue stream and having something that's 5-10 times greater. So you have to work that in. You have to consider that and include it in the process. And how do you do that? Well, you have to get proper legal agreements in place. Not simply basic shareholders agreements and bonus structures and promises that go here and there. You need solid, clear, definitive agreements that actually treat people properly, create equitable structures that people can understand and agree to and recognize where their obligations are to the company, but also how the incentives can be realized. And you work with that. So if somebody is doing what they're expected to do, even though it's slightly less than what somebody else might be doing, yes, they're not going to be thrown off the cliff and be reduced in their compensation because of that. That's not what we're talking about in the first place. We're talking about someone who gets on board and 6 months later really just sits in their cubicle and plays video games and has no active input or contribution to the business. Or they go through the motions. They put in hours, but there's no solid work. So you have an incentive chart, well, a performance chart, and they're not meeting any of the performance criteria. That's what we're talking about in the first place. In the second place, we're talking about an incentive arrangement. Clear, definitive objectives and structures to bonus people out, to pay them out for those incentives. Because everybody wins when one or two members go above and beyond and hit milestones, exceed expectations, and really drive up the tech company. Because that is what you're looking for in a tech company. And people need to know that that is coming. Because that is what gets people to work that much harder, that much longer, and be focused on the end result. Otherwise, people are going to really slack off and not really make the right contributions, especially where others are not pulling their weight. It's an important necessity in a technology company, whether you're dealing with hardware, software, the internet, or whatever area. The potential is so great. You need to get people that you bring on board to understand that they have the ability to drive the company forward. Hopefully you've found this YouTube video informative. We hope you like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to provide our audience with informative videos on technology and business law. As well, we always recommend experienced legal representation in the technology field. As you can tell from this particular video, what you're trying to do is create the appropriate model which doesn't push people away, that's acceptable to people, and that incentivizes the right people. This is not some cookie cutter agreement that you're looking to put in place. It is a structure that is supported by very unique and specific legal agreements, starting with a unanimous shareholders agreement that includes a performance matrix and an incentive system, not your standard run-of-the-mill agreement. So if you're looking for something like that, please feel free to contact us, because we'd be more than happy to work with yourselves as we work with other clients in this field and trying to get their technology business to reach its optimal levels and maximize its profitability and return. We thank you for watching our video and look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.